Dot and the Kangaroo, Chapter 1. The Kangaroo Finds Dot. A Whimsy Down Under story time. Adapted from the original story by Ethel C. Pedley, 1899. Little Dot loved the bush. She loved the way the sunlight danced through the tall gum trees. She loved the smell of flowers after rain. She loved following pretty things, even when she probably shouldn't. One afternoon, while Mama was cooking dinner, Dot slipped outside to pick some bush flowers. "Don't go too far," Mum called. "Stay where I can see you." "Sissies." "I will," said Dot, and she meant it. She really did. But then a little brown hare came bounding out of the grass, right past Dot's feet. It was so fast and so fluffy. Dot ran after it just for a moment, just to see where it went. But the bush is very big, and little girls are very small. When Dot stopped running, the hare was gone, and so was the cottage. All she could see were tall trees stretching up and up and up, their branches reaching towards the sky like long crooked fingers. Dot walked this way, and then that way, and then that way, but everybody looked the same. And her little dress caught on the prickly bush. Her feet were sore and tired, and the sky was turning soft pink colour. It turns just before the sun goes to sleep. Dot sat down at the bottom of a very big gum tree. She hugged her knees up to her chest, and she began to cry. Not a loud cry, just the quiet kind, the kind you do when you feel very small. She thought about Mama. She thought about Dada. She thought about how warm the kitchen would be right now, and how dinner would be on the table, and nobody would know where she was. The bush was still, quiet, just the whisper of the breeze high up in the leaves. Then Dot heard something. Yeah, very soft, very gentle. She uncovered her eyes, and then right in front of her, the most beautiful kangaroo she had ever seen. The kangaroo was big and grey and soft-looking. She had the kindest eyes, dark and warm like rivers in the shade, and down her velvet nose, two tiny tears were slowly falling. The kangaroo was crying too. They looked at each other for a moment. Then the kangaroo hopped softly away into the bushes. Dot watched her bobbing through the scrub, up and down, up and down, up, until she came bouncing back again. In her little paws, she carried something wonderful. It was a small branch, heavy with berries. Such pretty berries. Some were green, some were red, some were a deep blue of a summer sky, and some were as white as gum blossom. The kangaroo held them out to Dot. Dot looked at them, and then up at the kangaroo. The kangaroo nodded very kindly. So Dot ate a few. They were sweet and strange and cool on her tongue. And then something magical happened. The bush was no longer quiet. Suddenly, Dot could hear voices, tiny voices everywhere. From the earth, from the bushes, from up in the trees, from the very air around her. Ants hurrying home, talking as they went. Lizards chatting to each other under dry leaves. Birds calling goodnight from branch to branch. The whole bush was alive with conversation, and Dot could understand every word. Then she heard the warmest voice of all, right beside her. It was the kangaroo. I knew you had lost something, the kangaroo was saying, in her soft, gentle way. I could tell because I know just how that feels. I lost my Joey, you see, and I have been so very sad ever since. She looked at Dot with her big, kind eyes. Now tell me, what it is that you've lost, little one? I've lost my way home, Dot said quietly. The kangaroo nodded slowly, as if this made perfect sense. Ah, she said, then we are both lost in our own way. She settled herself down beside Dot, her long tail curled gently behind her. Don't be frightened, she said. You are not alone anymore. We shall figure this out together. And somehow, sitting next to that big warm kangaroo under the tall gum trees, with a soft bush whispering softly around her, Dot felt just a little bit better. The bush was full of stories that night, and Dot was right in the middle of the one. Next time, Chapter 2, So Thirsty and So Frightened. Thank you for listening to Storytime with Chickadee and Whimsy.